Hi all. Today's video is with respect to Autoware Foundation. What is Autoware Foundation? So, Autoware Foundation is the world's first open source software for autonomous driving, and it has been created by Tire 4. It's a company which is basically the founding member of Autoware Foundation. Now, this is uh, uh, how the Autoware Foundation works. So you have the Autoware Foundation where they have open sourced the software which basically drives the autonomous vehicles. It is with respect to perception, with respect to the path planning, with respect to map creations and all. So that is the open source part. And we have the Tier 4 company, which is basically a company which provides the ecosystem to which utilizes this open source software, and it can basically cater it as services to various partners. So if at all we see the ecosystem, so the ecosystem is split into three parts. One is the Edge Auto, second one is the Web Auto, and third one is Pilot Auto. Okay. So Edge Auto briefly talks with respect to the hardware which are necessary for uh, enabling any vehicle to be autonomous, and the hardware which basically has the capability of running the open source software which is built under the Autoware Foundation. Web.auto speaks with respect to the CI/CD pipelines, fleet management, and many other things with respect to that. Pilot.auto speaks with respect to the various use cases which any organization or any startup comes across when they're dealing with this autonomous vehicle use cases. So it could be like material handling inside a warehouse. It could be like a shuttle bus. It could be like your autonomous vehicle, or it could be a robo taxi, or many things like that. We will get into that in detail. And using the open source software, these three ecosystem blocks, Tier 4 basically uh, does have the collaboration with various partners where they are the hardware providers, or with respect to the vehicle manufacturers or suppliers or whatever it is. Now, if we come to this pilot.auto, so here you can see that this is basically the block diagram of pilot.auto. So you have a customer business model. So a business model could be like a person who has a huge factory and he wants to do material handling operation in his warehouse. So that is the business model. They already have a predefined reference designs where they have a concept, they have the use cases, they have the features, system requirements. So this is the basic reference designs which they already have with respect to material handling. Now, the customer can basically use this reference material, both hardware and software, tweak it to their own requirement, and they can create their own custom products. So this is what the pilot auto is all about. So he speaks about. So I'll get in depth with respect to that. But so these are the sub blocks of what is under pilot auto. So these are the things: different design, system concepts, use cases, feature list, hardware requirements, and software assets. Now let me explain by using one of the reference architecture which these guys have provided. So I'm just using the shuttle bus reference model. So if at all you see, there are six reference designs over here. One is with respect to the cargo transportation, shuttle bus, delivery robots, robot taxis, personal cars, and others. Okay. Now we'll get into this shuttle bus. Now, if we get into the shuttle bus, so this is what it is. It basically explains that this is a reference design. And if we get into the concepts of what this particular shuttle bus hardware and software capabilities which they have kind of open sourced under this Autoware. So here we speak about the concept of how it operates during the daytime, how it operates during the nighttime, and many of the what to say scenarios which come across while you're deploying it, like how about an unplanned lap or whatever it is, collision avoidance. How do you do it, and how do you do this fleet management system? How is it connected with respect to that? and all these things are basically spoken about in this particular concept, which basically says that this is what this hardware and software as such out of the box will work. Once this is done, then now this is the use case part, which I was explaining it over here. So that is the concept. This is the use case part which I'm trying to explain now. Okay. Now here we talk with respect to what are the different use cases. So use cases are like route following or following vehicle in front or many of these things. Okay. Now with respect to the feature list, so which is this part, the features which are basically covered. So the feature list is with respect to route following, lane changing, how do you cross an intersection, and if at all there is someone in between, how do you do that, and all these things. Okay, and this is basically the service features which it provides in each of these scene. How does it work at a bus stop and all, and they even say that for doing this kind of uh, application for the software which we have built under the open source, this is basically the required hardware configuration which you will be needing to drive it. So this is what they provide, and there is something called as so as I have explained over here, the Edge Auto. Edge Auto basically gives you the Tier Force ADK. ADK stands for Autonomous Driving Kit. So there they say that this is the specific camera which you can use, and this is the specific sensor fusion module which you can use for enabling this particular functionality as showcased under one use case with respect to shuttle bus or whatever it is. So this is where they explain with respect to the sensor performance, its parameters, the configurations which you have to use. Not necessarily that only their sensors will use. Any other sensor with the same capability can also be used for their own hardware. So these are some of the what to say. This is basically the pilot.auto, and I have explained you with respect to the shuttle bus use case. Now, if we continue to the web.auto. So what is web.auto? So so pilot.auto is good enough for one vehicle to be on the road. So pilot.auto, what it does is it provides the hardware and software so that a vehicle, it could be your cargo movement, material handling, or it could be your shuttle bus or whatever, to work. Now, when an organization basically deploys it, it doesn't deploy one vehicle. It will deploy maybe 100, 200, or thousands of vehicles. So you basically need to have an ecosystem to drive the entire chain. So for that, basically you need to have a fleet management system. You need to have a CI/CD pipeline which does the testing and validation for you for the latest softwares which you want to deploy on the vehicles. Okay, and you need to store the data which it collects. You need to create a map, and you will be storing those maps and all this. So that particular part of how do you basically use this particular uh, uh, how do you run the entire show, not just one vehicle, is basically supported by this web.auto. So this is one simple screenshot of the web.auto platform where they are talking about orchestrating a autonomous bus service. So so this is the destination, this is your autonomous bus, and you can just plot your location over here and the bus moves accordingly. Many such things. So as I said, with respect to Edge.auto, these guys, they have partnered with the various companies. They, I don't think, manufacture all the entire hardware. They manufacture some of the hardware, maybe. Most of the hardware is basically outsourced from various companies. I will anyways give you the reference links which I have used in the description of this video. You can go and refer to that. So that is basically the Edge.auto part. And so this is basically the entire Autoware uh, foundation, where they're talking about Autoware open source software. The reason why it is relevant in the SDV domain is something which I will be explaining in the coming video with respect to how are they pivoting their business model from this existing thing and how they are expanding into the SDV space is something which I will explain. And I will even explain with respect to how the Autoware Foundation is in collaboration with the SOFI to enable cloud native deployment of softwares on the SDV vehicles. Thank you.